Washington is the most trade-dependent state in the country, but our regulatory process for trade and infrastructure investments has sadly become longer and more uncertain, jeopardizing our ability to lead the way on trade. Keep Washington Competitive, a business and labor coalition, believes that by fostering a regulatory environment that provides certainty and encourages investment, we will ensure our state is positive to thrive. It is paramount that our lawmakers and regulators work together with business and labor to sustain our state's vital trade industries for future generations of Washingtonians. Learn more at keepwashingtoncompetitive.com.
Welcome to Let's Talk Spokane, where host Ryan McNeese seeks out and discusses the latest on a variety of hot local topics. Now, here's your host, Ryan McNeese.
Welcome to the program. I'm Ryan McNeese with Let's Talk Spokane, and we are very fortunate today to have Abby Crawford here with us. Thanks for joining us, Abby.
Of course, I'm glad to. Thanks for having me.
Let's chat about art world here in Spokane.
I don't know anything about the art world.
Oh my gosh, we must have the wrong person on then. My bad. We better start over. I think a comment that I hear around Spokane quite a bit, and I have friends in Seattle, is, well, what art is in Spokane? And the reality is, tons and tons of art if you're looking. Tell us about that.
What
Tell us
art
about the
isn't in
opportunities.
Spokane, I think, is where it would be an easier question. We have so many different avenues as far as the arts go. We not only have visual artists, but we have, of course, musical artists, and we have theater, and we have, you could throw a rock into a pond, and you're going to come up with whatever you want.
Right. And
basically.
you look through the Inlander, and in my life, in terms of scheduling and whatnot, I wish I had the time to go to the plethora of opportunities that the Inlander speaks of.
Absolutely. At the beginning of every month, which is this coming Friday, you have First Friday that happens downtown.
Right.
A number of people take part in it. So you can go to any number of galleries downtown. There are artists showing their paintings, murals, fabric works, any kind of art that you can get your hands on, visually speaking. A number of people take part in that. This year is the 9th anniversary of Terrain, which happens the first Friday every October. That's happening at I can never remember the name of it.
I think you'd indicated the Cracker Barrel.
I don't think it's Cracker Barrel. I think it's the Cracker Building. It's the Cracker Building, white something. I can't, but it's 304 West Pacific
It
is where it's
really
at.
neat building. I
Beautiful
had an
building.
opportunity to go
Beautiful
there for a recent event with King Beverage, and it's a really neat.
I was just there for a wedding.
Oh.
It's beautiful. So they have Terrain in there. And
yeah, tell me a little bit about what that, obviously the 9th year, so give me a little bit more on that.
So Terrain is visual arts, but it mixes not only the visual arts, but there will be musicians there as well. It's all local artists, people who are from the area who submit to see if they can be a part of it. And I work at the Modern Theater Spokane, and our set designer, Jeremy Whittington, is part of it this year. So it's nice to see your local artists. You can go down and take a look. It's literally the biggest party of the year.
In town.
Well, I'm going to say of October in Spokane, because the next month we have the Spokane Arts Awards as well.
And in some of these events that are coming up and in and around this area, is the food culture starting to buy into that as well? Are they trying to combine the art world and the food world, or foodies, if you will?
I think so. I'm a terrible foodie. I love eating food, but I'm a terrible foodie as far as knowing what's out there. I know we have a new ceviche restaurant. Did you know that?
No, I did
not. A ceviche restaurant?
No, but I'm going to try it now.
Definitely.
Do we know the name of it?
No, but I can find it
We'll
out. Somebody was just
out.
talking about it the other day. But also someplace like Ruins that takes place in, seriously, have you ever had, okay, I'm not going to talk about food, but.
Well, it seems like those two cultures are would be a good fit, whether it be the Terrain 9 coming out and the opportunities for some of our food vendors here in our area, that it really has become and has been an art form.
Absolutely. If you look at something like the Kendall Yards market nights that they have, lots of beautiful food down there. Also art available down there.
Yep.
Also market as far as farmers bringing in their wares. When you mix them all and it's such a beautiful place like that, and Spokane has a lot to offer in all of those bits and pieces. I think we're very lucky to have everything available to us.
Well, I think there is a plethora of opportunities, and that's, I think, the real topic of what's going on in Spokane, the art world, and why you're a great individual to have here. And actually, let's circle back on that. And Abby Crawford, the director of Chicago, that's currently running at the Modern. I believe it runs till October 23rd.
Correct.
A lot of directing opportunities that you've had historically, as well as singing yourself.
Right.
So you are indeed the artist and a great person to be talking to about what's going on here in Spokane.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how Chicago is going so far.
Chicago is splendid. Everything about it is beautiful. It's been received very well. Our reviews are wonderful. So we've done 2 weekends so far, and the audiences are loving it. It has a lot of high moments, a lot of comedic moments. Also, when you get to watch the performers dance, and we have some true actual Fosse choreography for the very first song and for the very last song, and our choreographer, Angela Pearson, is also our Velma. So it's fantastic to have her integrated into the world of Chicago, as well as doing all the choreography for it. It's a very decadent piece of work, I suppose. And Chicago as itself is a decadent piece of work, but when you get to watch it right in front of you with these fantastic performers, it gets to be 10 times better.
Well, I'm excited. I'm going to get an opportunity to go see it on Saturday night. And,
Good.
And you just indicated your set director, Jeremy Whittingham, that he did the set for Chicago. So tell me a little bit about how this set maybe is slightly different, including the staging at the Modern Spokane.
The set is done in the way of a graphic novel or a comic book. So it's very stark and abstract. And if you look at it long enough, you'll see that there's a word that's been created into the set. It's through the set. But also all of the artwork that happens up on the sides is all Jeremy's work too. He's a very, very talented individual, and he worked really well with me as far as what my vision was for Chicago. And when we hit this beautiful stride, he knew exactly what I wanted and went for it, and everything that he brought me was perfect. And if I didn't like it necessarily, I could tell him, no, I'm not thinking that, I'm thinking more this, and he would come up with it immediately.
And that brings up an interesting point, I think, whether it be theater or specifically musical theater or art and the different mediums that are out there. You having a good experience working with a set director and you being the director and working with a musical director, is that how the art community by and large works, either in Spokane or otherwise, where once you've had a good experience, that culture tends to work with each other again? Is that
I think
the way
so.
that works?
I think I would like to say yes, that's the way it is. Not always is it like that, but we all meaning the performers and
right.
the artists and whatnot in Spokane, we all want our art to be forwarded in the conversation of Spokane. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it absolutely makes sense. That from the outside looking in, the massive amounts of collaboration that go into putting these shows on.
Yes,
it certainly is a team effort.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
There are many, many talented people in Spokane, not just from one genre, but all genres. And when it comes down to the actual art, whether I'm not a visual artist, I'm a performing artist, but I can work with a visual artist for maybe a gallery opening or something, but any number of people, I can talk to them and say, hey, this is my idea. Would you be willing to work on that with me? Especially in the theater world, when we have so many different theaters that
right.
maybe we can work together on putting a fundraiser together. Or, my most recent fundraiser was working with the Bing. So Jerry Dicker, who owns the Bing, worked with us on that, and it was a fundraiser for the Vanessa Behan Crisis Nursery, and then
Great
also the Modern. Right, and to be able to collaborate with people has been such a big love of mine, because I myself can't do everything.
Nope.
Even though I'd like to think so
No,
sometimes.
but delegation becomes a necessity,
Yes,
right?
But there are a number of people who are really willing and offer services all the time.
If I could go back there a little bit, you mentioned this theater or that theater. Maybe some of our listeners don't know how many theaters are there in our area, whether it be Spokane and Coeur d'Alene.
Sure. So we have the Modern Spokane that also has the Modern Coeur d'Alene. So we have 2 theaters. There's also Spokane Civic Theater, which I believe is in its 72nd
I think I heard that.
year.
I heard 73 something.
Yeah, it's been around for quite some time. And an award-winning theater, one of the highest award. They have more awards than most community theaters in the United States. So that's pretty amazing to have that
fantastic.
in our Spokane.
Once again, if you're looking for art,
yes,
Spokane
has
have
it. We have Ignite Community Theater, which is out on Broadway out in the Valley. There's Stage Left, which is right downtown. And then we have our local college theaters that put out some good stuff too. Gonzaga, Eastern Washington, Whitworth.
And then the Bing obviously does.
The Bing brings
house
in
some
amazing things. They'll bring in, have you ever seen this, what do they call it? Stage to screen. So
I haven't.
They'll bring in shows that have been filmed, stage shows that have been filmed. Like they did Frankenstein, I say it like Young Frankenstein. They bring in Frankenstein.
But that would be worth seeing, no doubt.
Yes. Well, they're actually doing Young Frankenstein
Right.
on October 24th, the movie. You know, we lost Gene Wilder, so they're actually doing that. They're doing a whole movie night at the Bing. But so they bring in these stage shows so that you can see actual fantastic Broadway shows and West End shows right up close. And I mean, why wouldn't you? It's to go see the Gene Wilder one. It's $7 to get in and sit there and watch this wonderful show. I would love to see it. But anyways.
There are so many opportunities. Abby, let's take a quick break and come right back talking about the art opportunities in Spokane.
Awesome.
In touch, online all the time. SpokaneTalksOnline.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
A special thank you to our friends at Tom Sawyer Country Coffee, the official coffee supplier here at Spokane Talks Online.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and a description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
Thanks for coming back. I'm Ryan McNeese with Let's Talk Spokane, and we have Abby Crawford with us. We've been chatting about the different art opportunities in Spokane.
Which are many.
Yeah, we were just chatting about the various theaters throughout not only Spokane, but Coeur d'Alene, North Idaho, and they are many.
They are many. We have a large group of talented humans all over Spokane, and I'm sure that every city can say that, yes, we have a large group of talented people, but I think I'm always amazed by how talented, especially if you have kids coming out of the high schools around here, out of the drama programs, who are amazingly talented young people, and our artists. And Spokane actually has opened its mind to some of these artists. If you look at the murals that are all around by the Benson brothers, Todd and Kane Benson, there's one at each end of the Maple Street Bridge, and then they did the arena Do you know? So
Right.
mural work is a really big thing. Ellen Picken is another muralist in Spokane who does some fantastic works all over Spokane. Tom Quinn, he's done do you know the Marmot Man?
Absolutely.
He
Yep.
did that one and the one in Brown's Edition. These are all people who are living here and taking the art world in Spokane to another level and really being dedicated
And
to
I think
it.
you're making a great point that, like many different areas of all of our lives, we're busy individuals. We have a lot of stimuli coming each of our way. But when you are looking for something, if you are in the Inlander looking for opportunities to go see art, whether it be the murals, whether it be theater, whether it be the different shows that are that we've been talking about, those opportunities are here, but you do have to look. You do have to look. But in this
Absolutely.
area, when you look, they seem to abound.
It's nice when you open your eyes and you see how beautiful Spokane is
Right.
and how it's been even more beautified by the artists in the community, not just the visual artists, but theater-wise too. We work really hard to make sure that what we put on stage is a beautiful thing that we want people to come and see.
And an opportunity to celebrate that, I believe the 3rd Annual Spokane Arts and Costume Awards is coming
Arts
up soon.
and Costume Ball, it's great. It's the 3rd annual, so
Yeah, tell me about that.
this year, the theme is dressing like your icon. So it's a costume ball. It happens right after Halloween. So it's November 5th. And it's, again, at the Washington Cracker Building. That's what they
Okay,
call
there
it,
we
Washington
go.
Cracker Building. I
Washington
got it. So
Cracker
Terrain
Building.
one weekend and
We got it.
the next month. And it's a celebration of people in Spokane, whether they be leaders, whether they're working on collaboration. And these arts go out to people. Or these awards go out to arts people
Right.
if they're supporting the arts. Jerry Dicker, who we were just talking about, who owns the Bing and a number of the other buildings down in the Arts District in
Right.
Spokane, he won an award for being such a supporter of the arts in Spokane.
Yeah, Jerry has done quite a bit for the arts world. here.
Absolutely. So this year, the interim artistic director of the Modern Theater, Troy Nickerson, is up for a leadership award, and it's fun to see
That's
your
fantastic.
friends and family who get nominated for these
Right.
awards, so that they're furthering again the conversation of arts in Spokane. It's an important thing. If we don't have arts, I feel like we lose part of our humanity.
Yeah, part of the fabric, culture of what we have here.
Absolutely. So that is November 5th, and people can get tickets for that. I think it starts at 6:30.
So do people, the costume awards, are people dressing up for this on November 5th?
Absolutely, people are dressing up.
So you'll see the dress up on October 31 for Halloween, but are they still dressed up then?
Oh,
for,
yeah, we're still dressed
maybe
up.
you don't stop in between?
No, but see, well, I suppose it depends on who you dress up for Halloween, because for this
That's true.
particular, last year, the costume ball was more of, it was called Dadaism. I'm not sure if
I
you're
do
surreal,
remember-
abstract.
yeah.
And so this year it's icons or idols, who your art icon or idol is. And so it's fun to see what people bring to that, because, I mean,
I would love to see the photo outtakes from
yes,
this.
because you can imagine with the creative and artistic people in Spokane to begin with, when they're given a theme
They're
to
gonna
dress
do it
up
up
with,
right.
they do it up so
Yeah,
right.
I can already see the passion that's going to go
Yes.
into this.
Yes,
so
yes.
You're going to be there.
I am. I'm
Can
emceeing the
can
event, actually.
Okay. Can you tell us or is this a surprise?
I haven't decided
Okay,
yet. There's so
okay.
many idols and so many icons in my life, and I have to go with one of them. Maybe
Better
I'll
just
do
pick
all of
one.
them.
Well, that's November 5th, so we'll be interested in hearing back about how that goes. Do you have some other shows coming up? Obviously, as we mentioned, you're going to have Chicago that is going to be running through October 23rd at the
Yes.
Modern Spokane, and you are directing that, so you virtually probably have no time to yourself.
Actually, I've had a little bit of time
little
off
bit of
because
time?
my next directing project starts on October 23, actually, when Chicago closes. I'm directing again. This is the 3rd year in a row I've directed it. It's called All Is Calm. It's about the Christmas truce of 1914 that happened during World War I in no man's land. And the first year we did it, it was a hit. Beautiful. It's a beautiful
It
show.
is
It's
a
an hour
fantastic
long,
show.
and you go through so many ups and downs as you're going through it. But it actually tells the story of the men who are there. So all of the dialogue in the show comes from the statements or letters home or journal entries from the men who are actually there. So the
And my
words.
my recollection from, I had the opportunity to see it at the Modern Coeur d'Alene last year, and I think as you're indicating, you have individual actors up there literally reading the words
Right.
from World War I.
Right. The script comes with the words from the men, and then we also cite who these men are, what their rank was,
Powerful.
where they were from. And when directing the show, I have my boys who are in the the men who are in the show. We've had 11 men in the past. We have 13 this year, and
So added 2 to
Yeah,
the cast.
yeah.
Is there a directorial or artistic reason for adding 2?
to fill out the voices, because all the music
Interesting.
is done a cappella.
Okay.
So there's no band, but
So
all
you're
of the
adding
music comes from
ranges.
the men. Yes. So we, when we go through this process, the men, when they get whoever they're reading, they need to look up their characters or the men from who they're speaking. Look them up. Did they live through the war? Did they die in the war? What happened to them after the war? We've had a couple of them. One particular, his name is Patrick McGill. He has a beautiful little piece of poem that's in the show, and he went on to become a very well-known Irish poet. So it's interesting to see what happened to these men and from their point of view what it was like. And it's a very important show. It's my favorite show that I've ever had my hands on.
My personal opinion, it is extremely powerful. If you ever leave a show, in my opinion, where you really felt something, as to these folks stopping in the midst of battle
Yes.
to celebrate Christmas, I think it's a great show about humanity.
It is. Well, it's an incredibly written show. The people who took it on, Peter Rothstein is the writer of the show, and then Eric Lichty is put the music together.
Okay.
They are from Minneapolis, from a theater called Theater La Teda, and our friend Phoebe Oosterhuis, who was on the board for a while, knew of this show. She was from Minneapolis. She said, we need to do this show, and she helped us grab the show, basically. And so to be able to perform it for a third year in a row and introduce more people to it, I think is a wonderful and beautiful
and
thing.
did you say this year it is held?
It's at the Spokane Modern this year.
It's
So-
going to be at Spokane.
Yes,
Modern.
and
Okay.
we will have a Christmas Eve show, which to me is very important because you're doing it on the anniversary, and this year is the 102nd anniversary.
Is there a reason to stage it at the Modern Spokane versus Coeur d'Alene in terms of the set design, or is
No, not necessarily. We did it the first year in Coeur d'Alene. The second year we did it at the Bing, and then
Okay.
this year we're doing it in town because we just decided it would be nice to
Yeah.
try it there. I think the acoustics in that house will be very nice, and I kind of have an idea that I want to do it in the round, so all 4 sides rather than the 3. But I'm not sure if that's actually going to work out or not. But it's fun to look at different ways to present it. I think it's a very intimate show, and I think that anybody who gets to see it and gets to be that close to it, especially in a house like the Spokane Modern, it'll be even more intimate. So
absolutely?
absolutely. It's my favorite.
And so
As you can tell.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's a fantastic show. So if you're looking out there a year, let's look out there a year for you. Obviously, you have Chicago still running. You'll have All Is Calm here at the at the end of 16 as you move into 2017. What do you see for yourself in the art community here in Spokane over the next year?
I will always be involved in the arts in Spokane. I'll be taking a break as far as directing goes, and raising my children. But
Yep.
I'll always be a part
Balance,
of
right?
Right. I need to look at what we're going to be doing next season. Where I can help out there, and but once 2017 hits, then I think I'm actually going to focus a little more on my cabaret stuff.
Okay.
Because I haven't done a lot of singing this year, and I'm singing. I've got a concert coming up on the 12th and 13th of November for Northern Idaho AIDS Coalition over in
gosh.
at.
You are a busy individual. You are a busy
I am,
individual.
but I always try to update my stuff on AbbyCrawford.com. So
that's where we can find you
Yes.
for looking specifically
Yes.
for Abby Crawford. It's going to be interesting to see what Spokane can do with the arts in relation to Seattle. Seattle obviously has a great arts community there. Fifth Avenue, obviously in the musical
sure,
in the
yes.
theater world. I think you indicated correctly that here in Spokane we have so much support from the respective high schools in theater and otherwise. You've indicated with Terrain 9 coming up here in the very near future, the Spokane Arts award show, November 5th. What else can you think of that's going to be happening here this spring? There's so much to offer.
Besides the stuff that's happening at the theater, I mean, we've got shows going on nonstop.
And as you mentioned earlier in the conversation, between the Civic, Ignite, Stage Left, Modern Spokane, and Modern Coeur
There's
d'Alene.
full theater seasons going on. Our season doesn't even end until July.
Well, and my wife and I, by the time you look at all these showings that are out there, we want to hit them all.
Right.
But there's only so much time to get to them all.
If you look at your schedule and you figure out if you can figure it out correctly, you can actually hit every single show. For those of us who direct shows or are in shows, we always have to look and see what's happening everywhere.
We need a flow chart and
Yes,
a Google Calendar.
Absolutely, and you could get it down. It takes a lot.
Yep.
It takes some work sometimes.
Yep,
But
and as you said, then balance.
well, don't you have
Balance.
a secretary to take care of that stuff for you?
Oh, I look at my own Google Calendar.
I sometimes wish I had somebody be like, "This is where you're at
This is
today,
where you're
and this is
supposed to
where you're
be."
at tomorrow." And my
Well,
kids kind of
Abby,
help me. So.
I am so glad on your Google Calendar you were here with us today to talk to us about the arts community here in Spokane. Clearly, you're excited about it. I'm excited about it. And I think there's a lot to offer for Spokane if they're looking for it. Thank you for
Absolutely.
having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on Let's Talk Spokane.
Of course, my pleasure.
Let's Talk Spokane is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask us a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Thanks for listening.
What is that you're holding? The Spokesman Review? Is it really even a factor in driving customer traffic anymore?
Yeah, sure is. Here, close your eyes and imagine a few people with $5 bills in their hands standing outside the door of your
Okay,
business.
I see them. I like it. People with money. What's your point? $5 isn't that much.
I know, but what if there were 300,000 people in
Yikes,
front of
okay.
your door with $5 bills in their hands?
Well, now you got my attention. That's $1.5 million. 300,000 people. Where'd they come from?
Yeah, that's how many different people read the Spokesman Review every week in print, online, or on their mobile.
Wow, that's impressive.
All you got to do is invite them in. Run some ads.
The Spokesman Review has 300,000 readers a week? That's amazing. I had no idea.
Most people don't. That's why we're running this ad. In print and online, the Spokesman Review delivers customers for your business.
This is Sammy Eubanks. Join me daily at 3:30 for Local Motion on SpokaneTalksOnline.com.